In this video, I'll be showing you how to set up an elevated mini garden. This method of gardening puts your plants at a convenient height, making it easy to see them and taking a lot of stress off your back. It's perfect for small spaces such as patios and balconies. I'll show you how to build a stand, set up a drainage system, mix up the soil, and plant the seeds. I'll also show you some examples of plants I've grown in my garden. Let's begin. Today we're going to be building a stand made out of wood. I got some 2x4s over here. We're going to cut them to size using this saw. Let's get started. Now you don't have to build a stand. You could just use a picnic table or some cinder blocks. Just make sure whatever you use is sturdy, since the garden will be quite heavy when the soil is wet. Measure and mark the wood with a pencil, then cut the wood using a saw. Once the wood is cut, you can remove any rough edges with sandpaper. The top is going to be a square, measuring 24 inches on each side. To join the pieces together, pre-drill holes into the wood, and then install wood screws. I'm using 2.5-inch deck screws that have been coated to prevent rust. Next, install the legs. You can make these as tall as you want the stand to be. My legs are 30 inches tall. Here's what the complete stand looks like with dimensions. As a final step, coat the stand with a waterproofer. This will help to keep the wood from rotting when it's sitting outside exposed to the elements. Next, we'll be considering the location of the garden. Ideally, you want to find a spot that gets several hours of direct sunlight. In my backyard, I've got buildings, fences, and trees that all create shade at different times of the day. But in the center of the yard, I get about 2 to 3 hours of direct sunlight, so that's where I'll be putting my garden. For the base of the garden, I'm using a 24-inch drain pan. Normally these are used for water heaters, but it works perfectly here. It's made out of sturdy plastic, and it's cheap and easy to find at your local hardware store. For drainage, it comes with a hole and some plastic fittings that you just screw into position, and I attached a section of 1-inch PVC tube. You can see here that when the garden becomes fully saturated, any excess water will flow out through the drain tube. You can even put a bucket under the tube to catch the water if you're trying to keep your area clean and dry. The soil container I'll be using is called the Big Bag Bed Mini. It's a cloth container which is supposed to allow airflow within the soil, resulting in healthier plants. This container is 24 inches in diameter and fits perfectly within the plastic drain pan. For the soil, the main component will be an all-purpose potting soil. Try to find a blend like this that contains compost and organic material from a variety of sources. I'll also be adding some peat moss and vermiculite. These are optional, but they help the soil to retain moisture. To create the soil mixture, I combine 1 part peat moss, 1 part vermiculite, and 2 parts potting soil. Mix the soil blend as well as you can, and add it to the cloth container. You can use your hands to mix it up as you go, making sure there's no clumps. Once the container is full, level it out and then spray it with water until it's fully hydrated. Before I plant my seeds, I'm going to place some wooden sticks on top of the soil to separate the garden into quadrants. Next, make some small holes in the soil for the seeds. Most seeds need to be planted at a specific depth, so check the seed packet for this kind of information. Drop a few seeds in each hole, cover the seeds with soil, and then give the garden a final watering. At this point, we wait for the seedlings to emerge. Germination usually takes anywhere from 3 to 10 days, depending on the type of plant and the temperature. I continue watering the garden every day, usually in the morning. Now, let's have a look at some plants I've grown in the garden. Radishes are a very satisfying plant to grow since they grow so quickly. These seedlings emerged after about 2 to 3 days. It only takes about 4 to 6 weeks for radishes to be ready for harvest. If multiple seedlings emerge from the same spot, select the weakest looking seedlings and carefully cut them off at the base using scissors. This allows the remaining plants to have enough room to grow without being crowded. The radishes are now ready to be harvested. Once an entire crop has been harvested and the quadrant is open, mix some fresh compost into the garden. This replenishes the soil with organic nutrients for your next group of plants. Make some new holes, plant new seeds, and repeat the process throughout the year. Basil is a great plant for the summertime. It withstands the heat well and can provide many harvests throughout the season. The basil plants were looking very full and healthy, so I started harvesting the leaves to make pesto sauce. I continued to harvest leaves every few weeks throughout the summer. Arugula is a plant with leaves that have an interesting spicy flavor. This wasabi arugula is even more spicy than normal and has a slight flavor of horseradish. Arugula makes a tasty addition to my lettuce and spinach salads. midsummer, the weather had gotten too hot for the arugula, and the plants began to flower, a process called bolting. Ideally, the leaves should be harvested before this point. Oregano is a slow-growing ground cover. It took several weeks for the seedlings to become visible. I enjoy the flavor of fresh oregano sprinkled on top of my scrambled eggs. I also add the herb to my tomato sauces. Once the plants were fully grown, I began harvesting sprigs of oregano every week. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you're inspired to set up your own elevated mini garden.